And here is where the dance originated, and boy, look how early those models are. Ugh.
Why does he look so weird?
Yeah. And I thought I only got one of the commercials while editing, but unfortunately I took two, so that's why I ran out of them by part 4.
Good job.
Yeah. But, yeah. Anyways, that's how... By the way, this theme you're hearing, this theme would never be put into the games until Crash 2. Anyways, here we are at Wumpa Island. It's either Wumpa Island and Sandy Island. I could get my islands reversed or something.
Isn't Sandy Island the first one?
I think it is. But here we are at up the creek. This is the first level of the second island. This level you can actually get the gem here, and oops. I do hope you'll stay awake this time around. Okay, so there was a failed take of this recording where I was wondering why I was by myself, and I was wondering where the heck Plum was, and it's just I was trying to get the commentary going, thinking that he was gonna add some commentary. He passed out. He literally passed out.
Yeah, because we don't sleep at a reasonable time anymore.
Well, regardless, it's just like, I was wondering, where the heck did you go? Where did you go? Come on, dude, there's some things I want you to see, and then you were just silent the whole way through. And I was just like, where'd you go? Why are you silent? Well, I'm lonely, please help me. I'm going through a boulder chase. We're about to approach some major differences and you're not here. Oh. Well, anyways, he's here now, and hopefully he shall not conk out this time. Anyways, the one thing I do recommend in terms of playthroughs, the one thing I didn't realize you could do when going down to that one set of lily pads is that you could just use those lily pads to catch you, then just walk over to that TNT crate and blow it up. So you can just jump onto the pathway and such. Like, I found it out through another Let's Player. I believe his name is The Red. I will link, like, I'll probably link all these, like, certain Let's Plays I think people should check out in terms of if anyone wants their Crash 1 or 100% kind of fix, because there's some Let's Players that I think deserve some attention and such. And I did like the Red's style of gameplay in terms of playing through Crash Bandicoot original and such. He does a bunch of no damage runs on the Crash series, and currently, whenever he gets back to it, he is doing one of the GBA games, Crash the Huge Adventure, which is the origin of Megamix. Those who probably discovered Crash for the first time would not know Megamix outside of Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled, as his first appearance was with the 7th Grand Prix in Nitro Fueled, being the Rustland. But his first appearance was in Crash Bandicoot: The Huge Adventure, and as such, he's what had happened once the gem or crystals destabilize and end up fusing Cortex, Engine, Tiny, and Dingodile together for some sort of chase sequence. And I will tell you this now. Those 3 of those characters I mentioned, we'll be talking about them later when I do future Crash installments, starting with Crash Bandicoot 2: Cortex Strikes Back. And that's not going to be for at least 3 more LPs. But in terms of that, we are about to approach the second boss of the game, Ripperoo. Ripperoo No matter what version it is, no matter which language, I hate this boss fight because it's such a pain such a pain to do this boss fight. And you see those big TNTs?
Yeah.
This is their only appearance, and as you can see, it's literally a the gigantic like question mark crate, except replace the question mark with the words "Big TNT." Because the one thing I'm surprised they didn't do, like Naughty Dog or Vicarious Visions didn't do, was at least like make the Big TNT be colored red. Like, because like it's orange. You can clearly tell it's orange. Like I noticed this as I was editing these Japanese raws together,
Hmm.
and
Why
like
are they orange?
um, I guess first game weirdness. I don't know. I'm surprised. Oh,
Oh, for God's sakes, Giga.
I was wondering why you didn't comment on that, and then like when I heard you and I just felt like, oh, you were asleep.
Yeah, good job. Yeah,
I
because I
do
thought you
it's
had to wake up early today.
I know. I do know at some point I do want to for one playthrough of Crash 1 I do want to end the boss fight while standing on top of the big TNT. So that way can be the flex. Anyways, here we are at the Lost City. This is where you get the red gem instead of the green gem. The red gem that's normally on Slippery Climb is no longer there because Slippery Climb gives you a clear gem, and considering its placement, well, yeah. Slippery Climb and Sunset Vista have probably one of the more drastic differences in this version, and that's because it's their placement. Due to one of them being easier than the other, their positions were swapped. And on top of that, in terms of level order, there were certain levels that were meant to go right next to each other. As such, like you have the Lost City and Jaws of Darkness were meant to be right next to each other. Both bridge levels were meant to be next to each other and such. So, but logistically, Slippery Climb's placement, it makes a lot less sense.
Hmm.
Because, consider where you are on the map. There's like no buildings there. The only things close enough are ruins. So how would there be a brick tower where ruins are supposed to be? But in terms of difficulty, I do understand why. And I swear, I think Sunset Vista is much harder in in the Japanese version.
How
Like,
is it harder in the Japanese version?
those pushing platforms, they have different timing in the Japanese version because they're a lot stricter, and you need to approach them differently. Those alone make Sunset Vista harder in Japan.
That's still gonna bother me the way you say it.
Some
I'm
people say
surprised.
Vista.
I'm surprised that didn't freaking wake me up the first time.
What, me say Vista?
Yes.
How do I have to yell Vista to wake you up?
No, it's Vista.
It's just it's just like loud car noises and other junk. Oh, you sleep. Someone pronounces Vista wrong. You are like, oh no, I've got to correct you.
Yeah, because I'm wearing headphones.
No. The moment you would wake up is when someone beats your koala carnival time. And because it's just someone because someone beats the chicken. Yes, I had to say it like that because I accidentally coined it, and apparently Plum wanted to keep immortalizing beating the chicken. And I'm not.
Well, I can't now because I'm the
Vista is
great.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's only one way to say an I in Spanish.
What is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm saying Vista because Vista is a Spanish word.
Well, it's a Latin. pronounced Vista in Spanish. Vista's English for us.
And the Windows version of Vista sucks. I had a better version, which was Windows 7 for a while. I think it had Windows 7 for a decade.
I still have Windows 7.
Oh yeah.
The only problem is I have to be careful with my laptop because no official support anymore.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's one thing I did mention in the first part about the bomb differences, but I will say that we're going to see some other differences, such as new bonus stages that weren't in the US version, and they weren't unused layouts or anything. I could be wrong about the unused layouts, but yeah.
You know what you should have been like?
What?
You would have just yelled "wake up" right in my ear.
Plum, I do not want to yell in my Let's Plays. Who do you think I am? Generic FNAF Let's Player number 57?
Oh no, you still would probably yelled in my ear like after the part was over or something.
I mean, this is our second take because you fell asleep.
Yeah, why now you see why I say something about how long the parts are? The timing of this.
Yeah, the timing of these haven't changed, but the Sunset Vistas, however, was changed for some odd reason. I don't know why.
Hmm. But did
And
they try to make it a little bit easier, but they just made it harder because it messes with the timing?
oh,
Oh, time to die.
yeah, because I'm here just scrambling and thinking, I can salvage this. I can salvage this. No, I cannot because I can't jump high enough. Those
No, you
platforms
gotta
to the left
die.
and right. Like I do not have a slide jump. I cannot do a slide jump to reach that platform. So guess what? We
For
have to jump
God's
cut.
sake.
Here is how you're supposed to do it. Wait till he gets to the center. Jump on him. I mean, I had to think of some way to jump cut, so there you go.
Hmm.
I will say, like, for PS1 standards, this is beautiful to look at because I just love the color, the hue, like everything about this, and the fact that Andy Gavin and many other Naughty Dog developers are such technical geniuses that they were able to hack the PlayStation 1's memory to
Yeah.
perform stuff that weren't possible in the PlayStation 1 before.
Yeah, because you guys should definitely watch the one interview.
The War Stories interview, there is a full uncut version. I will link that sometime when it uploads because like they even mentioned the word Sonic's ass game. So it's just like if you weren't convinced that Crash was jokingly called Sonic's ass game during development, well, there you go.
Yeah, because they'll still refer to it as such. But they'll remember.
Which surprises me how there isn't a Sonic ROM hack or fan game called Sonic's Crash's Side Game, where it's just what if you made Sonic play like Crash Bandicoot,
Mm.
where you had to hit all the monitors and you get an emerald after hitting all the monitors.
Except you have to worry about clear emeralds by that point.
Yeah, but like this stage, it's a bit more demeaning whenever you get so far in the Insane Trilogy version and you just die right at the end, meaning that you have to do it all from square one again. Because you have the safety net of being able to die before the first checkpoint, but after the first checkpoint, well, it's all fair game. So yeah.
Wait, is
Anyway,
this a color gem level normally?
yeah, you're supposed to get the green gem from here, but instead you get the red gem from this level. Meaning that you can do stages like Road to Nowhere on your first visit, and you can revisit Native Fortress much earlier than usual. I will revisit Native Fortress much later in this part.
You just want to clear out this island first?
Yeah. like I do it before I get to slippery climb, and yes, I said slippery climb. I know what I said. I'm just thinking, do I want to
Also,
go back or
for
forward?
some reason, I was reading a Laza.
Oh, I can see why.
So yeah, I'm just gonna call this level Laza for now, because that can't escape my mind.
The Laza ruins.
Yup.
And now we have leaked interviews for the movie Legacy. Anyways, well, to be fair, the Japanese language did end up coining the name of Spyro 2's main antagonist, Ripto, because Spyro 1's Japanese box art had the kanji make it look like it said Ripto instead of Spyro.
Mm.
And I don't know if we'll ever get to doing a Spyro game someday because I still need to beat Spyro in full, especially 100%. Because the control of Spyro takes some getting used to because it's not as beginner friendly as Crash 1. Crash 1 is a very simple run, jump on things, hit things, and stuff like that.
Break
Well, Spyro,
things.
yeah, break thing. Of course, you bring up the profit, but it's just like Spyro is just like it feels like for me like I can appreciate Spyro. Like I need to probably play more of it to see if I can appreciate the gameplay style. That's like even as someone who's played Ape Escape, like it's just like it feels like the skill floor is a bit high when it comes to playing Spyro casually because it's just like you have to get accustomed to a lot of things. You have to get accustomed to the camera, his glide, how he feels. It's just it feels weird.
Yeah,
Like
something just has to get a feel for. Because why
yeah,
do you think it didn't do so well in Japan, even if they try to make it more accessible?
like in Japan, they made the game much slower, and they had this fixed camera, which made the game, it made the game very, like, 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 it made the game go from something that would have been fun to something that just feels so awkward. And it's the reason why the third game never got released in Japan. I just I feel bad for Spyro because he always ends up getting the short end of the stick. Like he had the worst games post Insomniac era. Well, Crash had the better games post Insomniac or post Naughty Dog era. Insomniac did not make Crash Bandicoot. Believe me, I remember watching a Throne Controllers show where one of the questions was who made Crash Bandicoot and Uncharted, and the one girl guessed Insomniac, and it's just like you're probably thinking of Spyro and Ratchet and Clank, but it's just now because I got that name wrong, I'm reminded of it.
Oh my god.
But yeah,
But yeah, is Reignite Trilogy released in Japan though?
I don't think so. As far as I'm aware, it hasn't been released in Japan. I believe this is a brand new Tana stage in here because yeah, this is a new. Yeah, this is definitely a new one
Oh, boy.
because of the removal of the password system. There's probably a lot more Tana stages due to the fact that without passwords, how are players going to find a reliable a reliable password system or something like that?
Oh, now we're gonna go back to Laza.
Okay. But uh, but it's just like you're gonna see some unfamiliar layouts if you have not played this version. But
See, I
yeah,
assume they had to make the later Tana stages easier, or are these just like brand new ones?
these are brand new ones.
Okay.
Like the Tana stages that already existed, they remain those stages remain the same, but the new ones are stuff like they had to come up with on the spot. It's similar to the Brio stage they had to make for Stormy Ascent for
Except
Ensign
for
Trilogy.
yeah, except for that, they actually decided to try to push the limits of the Crash One gameplay style.
Yeah, because as you can see here, the danger sign has been properly translated.
That's one
Yeah.
thing I do like about the bonus stages. It just becomes more of a puzzle platform with how you're supposed to break the crates and whatnot.
Yeah, and it gives you lots and lots of rewards, and of course, it doesn't cost any lives, so you can just try again and again. Like in some ways, like Crash kind of has like a strategy element to it, where you're just trying to figure out how do you approach each situation and how do you approach the situation afterwards.
Mm.
It's weird it's weird saying that Crash has strategy, but believe me, there is strategy in Crash Bandicoot. There's strategy in a lot of Crash games. There's probably the most strategy in Crash Team Racing. You would never think that racing games would have strategies, especially with certain things. But yeah, they
Well,
do have strategies.
everything's gonna have a strategy. Why do you think racing lines exist in racing?
Fair racing lines exist in racing.
Yeah.
You should have said racing games because racing lines exist in racing. I don't know why that sounds so.
Well, I say racing in general because it's not just racing games. It's also like actual real world racing. You know that.
I guess that's fair, but most real world racing I've seen is just going in a circle for like 500 laps.
That's
I'm
NASCAR. You have to look at other racing events.
stuff like Daytona where like it's not just a circle where sometimes
Yeah.
you have like a oval, but then you have stuff like these events where you go along these landscapes and try and you have like those pit stops that just tell
Yeah.
like a crew chief that would tell you what should be the viable strategy to get in first.
Mm. Okay, now you're just talking about Daytona.
I mean, I wouldn't be able to do a Daytona Let's Play on this channel. It probably would be a one-off, and I suck at any racing games that aren't kart racers. And even then, I haven't played all kart racers, mind you. I've never played Diddy Kong Racing or Mario Kart Super Circuit.
Because I just know Diddy Kong Racing, you'd only play just to experience what its adventure mode is like.
Yeah, and even then, we have Diddy Kong Racing to thank for how Crash Team Racing turned out.
Mm-hmm.
I do have to wonder if there's a prototype with that one map still in its data.
What, Crescent Island?
Yeah, because it would be interesting to have a version of Crescent Island in an actual like on a PlayStation of all things.
Well, the thing is, it would be either they just made a basic blockout because they just want to test the controls that they were thinking of, or we're actually going to have like the whole level redesigned like in a Crash style.
I would probably guess it would be like a basic blockout, but with basic textures to probably test out the engine.
Mm-hmm.
No pun
How
intended.
much just to see how much they can render because everything has to be in 3D.
Yeah, and we're gonna be real here. Okay, I'm gonna be real here. As much as I like Mario Kart 64, Mario Kart 64 is aged like milk.
What is it because of the paper sprites for the racers?
Not just that, it's just how the game handles. Anyways, here we are at Native Fortress. Ugh. I'm reminded of the one part of SGB where because Johnny accidentally hit the fire platform, he just threw his freaking headphones.
Oh my god.
It sounds like he threw his controller, but no, he just tossed his headphones out of disbelief. I just bursted out laughing whenever I saw that. This is the only time Crash is walking on clouds. You'd think he would walk on clouds in later games, but no. This is the only time he's walked on clouds.
Yeah, and this is only to justify this little extra area.
Yeah. The only time Crash is ever in the sky is either through a jetpack in the GBA games or through, say, Crash Bandicoot Warped, where he or his sister Coco are in an airplane and they're shooting down blimps and hitting crates and stuff like that.
Mm.
Don't get me started with Rings of Power.
Well, you're not even at Crash 3 yet.
I know. We won't be like approaching Crash 3 until like
Ugh.
sometime after Let's Play number 10 or 11.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. That was a little bit scary.
Yeah. Yeah, and I did test Craig's theory on if those things were faster in the remake, and sure enough, they are, because they cannot make that one set of flame platforms on my first try.
So that's something they also changed for the Japanese version. They slowed the cycles just a bit.
No, I'm talking about the Insane trilogy, where it was actually faster in the Insane trilogy instead of the original.
Oh, oh, okay. Oh, so they made it faster for whatever reason in Insane Trilogy?
Yeah, I don't know why they did. They just went with the speed they felt they were proud with and stuff like that. But yeah. Oh, by the way,
Ugh.
don't go in there yet. Okay, now you can go in there.
Yeah, you almost made the mistake that at least if it was the remake, it would you would be fine because at least it's a
Yeah,
platform.
because I would just land on the platform in the center because there need to be an area for the gem to be on. But I would just land on the platform in the center and then just walk to get the box I missed.
Yeah, because that's another thing they changed in Insane Trilogy. We forgot to mention. They make it so you can actually collect the gem before finishing the level.
Yeah, just to make it similar to the other two entries, because starting with Crash 2, you actually get the gem before leaving the level.
Yeah,
And on top of that, like other games would add like box tallies,
and it's really useful, especially with this game.
yeah. I will say that I will say that the box tally is most useful with Crash Bandicoot Warped, because they actually show you how many boxes are in a level rather than just showing you how many boxes you've hit in this level.
Hmm.
Because in Crash 2, you have a box tally, but you don't know how many boxes are in a level until you like get to the end, when you notice there are probably boxes that you missed. And I'm pretty sure they added it because that one box in Cold Hard Crash, where it's just barely off camera, and the only way you
Yeah.
would think to do that is if you were like, huh, what if I actually jump on top of this instead of hitting it from below?
And then you have the other problem with like because Crash 3 made so the bonus area crates are mandatory. It's like with that applied Crash 1, you can tell some of the bonus stages were not designed for like getting all the boxes in a single run.
Case in point, the one in the Lost City.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like with like they had to make some changes in Insane Trilogy, because like in the second Cortex stage you get the key from the one in Jaws of Darkness. There is a breakable crate that's underneath a steel crate over a bottomless pit. You can never get that crate. It's impossible. And so in Insane Trilogy, they changed it so the crate that spawns underneath that one is a steel crate rather than a wooden crate. They also made that change in another Tana stage where one of the boxes that would bounce you upwards. Yeah, we're
Wait,
missing
what?
18 boxes.
Oh yeah, that's right. Then oh yeah, because this was the other boulder chase level.
Yeah, but where like after you get to the bomb path and after you jump on all the boxes, yeah, at this point we're supposed to go to Sunset Vista. Nope, we're in slippery climb.
Yeah, why are we in slippery climb already? Because where the heck is this castle in relation to the map? Because I can see ruins, but this don't look like ruins to me.
Yeah, it's because slippery climb is much easier than Sunset Vista, because due to how long Sunset Vista is, this stage is much shorter in comparison, and as such, this level and Sunset Vista were swapped. So yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
I can see how this would look feel jarring. I wonder how Japanese audiences did feel despite like the better difficulty curve.
I, yeah, that is a good question. Like,
Because like yeah, because this level right now is thematically inappropriate, but I can see what you mean by this is an easier level to go through at this point.
yeah, I mean, like, and on top of that, in prototype stages of Crash Bandicoot, there were stages there were like two sets of stages that were meant to go next to each other, but were spread out for reasons.
Hmm.
Like,
Is
for
that why?
example,
What you want to finish?
like for example, Temple Ruins and Jaws of Darkness were meant to be next to each other, and so were both and so were both both bridge levels, but due to they were spread out for certain reasons.
Hmm. Is that why starting with Crash 2 they just decide to have each area be like access through warp rooms, so if they had to rearrange levels it's more easier to do that.
Yeah, I think like the Mega Man approach in terms of arranging levels is something that's a really good idea and something I really like from Crash 2 is because you can tackle rather than having to tackle levels in a linear order, you can tackle any of the levels in a set order where
Yeah,
like you have
where
warp rooms in Crash
yeah, by
and
that point where you don't have to worry about whether or not the levels are thematically appropriate as long as the difficulty is balanced if you were to do everything in the preferred order.
or like if there's a level you don't want to take care of just yet, so you go to another level first before then. Like you can take care of the levels in any order, whether it be from left to right, right to left, or you just want to single out you just want to save the one level you hate for last.
Good job. Wait, why are you restarting? You can die.
It was after the first checkpoint. If it
And
was
what?
after the if it was after the first checkpoint, and I would have to backtrack through a lot of places where I couldn't be able to backtrack to.
Oh, is it because this game still has the one thing that it doesn't count all of the boxes as destroyed?
Yeah, like like for example, if I was playing Insanity Beach and I died after the first checkpoint, I could just backtrack to get the boxes that are no longer broken, so that way I can go back and go make progress. So like this is the only version of Crash 1 to actually have that, and yeah. Also, I think I failed this Brio stage too.
Let's see.
Like this is the first one I fail, and there's a good reason why this Brio stage was never was never meant to be a 100 like a stage you're supposed to hit all the boxes for, because there is a certain there's a certain crate that's a pain to hit, and
It's not that one because you clearly went too much forward.
oh definitely, it's the one that's above where it's just like
Good job again. How did I fall asleep through your mistake?
am I is my gameplay that boring, Plop? No, it's
I
not.
no, I don't think so. Maybe I was like actually getting tired. Excuse me?
If you're wondering, I was waiting for that to go out so I don't like just like because I was worried I was gonna go through the bird if I had that invincibility up, and like that invincibility, like I got the mask after leaving the Brio stage, and as such, the invincibility music did not play.
Oh, okay, so that's why it sounded weird. Because I was wondering why you weren't going for the bird already.
I was waiting for it to come out. Anyway, here is another new bonus stage here.
Oh, this looks interesting.
Yeah. Don't. I wanted to hit all 10 Wumpas, but I have 99 life, so I'm just like, screw it.
Doesn't really matter at this point.
Yeah.
And at least this is an end stage trilogy, so it doesn't matter if you don't get all the crates.
Hmm.
Yeah, because yeah, 'cause, yeah, they want to make sure you can at least save or during each level, right?
Yeah, like or in as many levels as possible, because they would most likely just put them in places where it's possible to have a save. Anyway,
Was there a text edit that went by
yes,
so quickly?
yes.
For God's sake, now I have to actually go back and pause to read what it is.
I mean, like after this part ends, you can always read it right now.
Yeah,
The one,
but yeah, those kind of edits bother me. Where it's like I literally need to rewind the video, pause it, make sure I get the frame, and then read it.
anyway, anyways, speaking of like there was a lot of stuff that made sure to cover why Tana was not in any game after Crash 1. Like there were a lot of marketing reasons for that, but in the manual of Crash Bandicoot 2 in Japan, it shows this illustration of Pinstripe with Tana. I'll show that on screen. I posted the image for you to look. That's supposed to be Tana. Like, you have Pinstripe here holding Tana. That's supposed to be Tana?
The thing is, like, here's the thing: because you can clearly see how she looks like, there is literally no excuse for an artist's misinterpretation. This
Like,
is like the '80s.
Yeah, I could understand it being ink constraints, but the only way for me to tell that's Tana is the ear. Like, you need to have her be orange to make sure that's Tana. But that looks like a generic girl.
Jesus.
Look at that face Pinstripe has. Anyway, getting back to the game at hand, this is the first Japanese boss theme we're hearing. It's a really good theme. I just wish we had the pre-console version of it already. I know Josh Mansell has uploaded a lot of pre-console mixes to his SoundCloud, and they're worth a good listen. You even get to hear parts that weren't in the game, or even early versions of certain songs. And I guess because this game does not have Red Book audio, probably, I don't know, probably save on space, I don't know. It's not one of those games where you can just put it into a CD player and listen to it as an album like with one version of Lemmings.
Yeah,
And
because this is technically like MIDI sequences.
yeah, mini sequences, but done right, because you're doing a lot with the sound font.
Yeah, because they still have to have the instrument libraries within the game itself, so it still sounds like what they're supposed to sound like.
Yeah. And like it'd probably be one of those games where it gave you a warning for putting in a CD player where it's defaulted to track 2. And as such, you have like warnings that are either themed to each game or a generic warning, like stuff with TurboGrafx 16 or Sega CD games or even Dreamcast games. And I'm pretty sure the most famous one of them all is the Symphony of the Night one, where Alucard's telling you put this back in the console, but you probably won't listen to me, would you? And then you get like a bonus track after that. But yeah, next time when we return to Japanese Crash 1, we'll be taking care of the last island, and we're gonna spend 3 parts on this last island, thanks to a certain level.
Jesus, Giga.
See you guys then.